Good morning, Pearl. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning, Regina. I am feeling fantastic. It is a wonderful day, glorious weather, and always the better for seeing you.
Oh, thank you, my dear. I feel the same way. And it is a beautiful day. It's a little, I don't know, maybe we're a little overcast outside this morning. I'm not seeing much sunshine out there, but we're in some warm weather these days. We're over this next couple of weeks, we're in the 90s and sometimes over 100. And yeah, so it's going to be a warm couple of weeks here. But that's summer in South Texas. So, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Collaboration Conversations. We're so glad to have you join us. Pearl and I love these opportunities to come and visit with you to share not only our expertise, but to share the expertise of others that we invite into the show. We had a guest lined up for today, and unfortunately, at the last minute, something happened and he's not unable to be here. So all is well in his world, but he's unable to be here. So we're going to carry the ball today.
We are. We are.
So if you saw my post, you saw that we were expecting a guest, but we'll see if we can get him another time. Um, so excuse me. So we wanted to visit with you about something that's really important to both of us, um, and really is at the center of all that we do, I would dare say. So I'm going to let Pearl kick this off and introduce our subject for today.
Right. Well, literally, as we were coming in the green room preparing, I said to Regina, I said, I've got a word that's coming to me. And that word is faith. Now, we will cover all areas of faith in our discussion today because you can have faith in yourself, faith through religion, faith in your business. There's so many different ways. And it just felt appropriate that every time we go live, we have faith that we are going to connect with the right people, that
Yes,
our message is going to be heard, and that we are going to build that engagement. So we've said, yes, let's just use the word faith and see where it takes us. Because I
see
think
where it goes.
anyone that listens to us and has that understanding of faith, we will say they will agree with us. Faith can take you anywhere and everywhere as long as you have that belief, that faith, that and know that you're destined to be on a certain trajectory. So that's my way of introduction. So
Yeah.
Regina, we've said about this. I'm going to flip this slightly. I'm going to ask you a question first from doing
All
that.
right.
Now, first of all, we've said the word faith. Could
Yes.
you let us know what faith means to you? And that could cover
Mm,
all of the topics that
wow.
we've said, because as
Sure.
soon as I said that word, your eyes lit up and I knew we'd got on to the perfect subject. So could you share with the listeners, to the viewers, to our audience, exactly what faith means to you, please?
Wow. Just go for the easy question first, Pearl. Oh my. That's a deep subject for me because faith is truly at the center of my existence and the center of everything that I do and everything that I am. And that is it goes beyond a worldly faith in, like we were talking about, faith in our business, faith in ourselves. But I truly have a spiritual faith that strengthens me, that um boy, yeah, I should have rehearsed. Didn't know we were going here.
I mean,
No,
do you?
I'm kidding about the rehearse. But yeah, it really, I have a faith in a higher being. I call him God. You may call it whatever you call it. Some people call it the universe, some people call it other things. I have a faith in God that truly guides and directs my life. And, and that goes from little things to big things to everything, really. It's so all encompassing. And as we go on, maybe I can share some stories with
Mm,
you of little ways that my faith has been, that I've demonstrated faith and I've seen the results of that.
yeah,
So I think it is something that isn't, that you have to demonstrate that faith in order for it to be fruitful.
yeah,
It's not just something you say, oh, I have faith, and then you don't act upon that faith.
yeah.
Am I making any sense?
Yes, yes, you are, because as you've said that, this is one of the reasons you and I connect on so many different levels. But yes, now, yes, I talk about my spiritual side a lot, but I have always had that faith. I
Yes.
got to, I mean, yes, I did my degree in English, but I was going to do it in theology.
Aha.
That's how far my faith had
Right.
gone. That I studied at A level, and that's why I wanted to take it on to university. I wanted to know, and people would say to me, "What was there? What was out there?" And I studied all the reasoning behind it, the background. I studied biblical scripture, and I looked at it that way, and I looked at all the key philosophers and how they had brought about, how they spoke about faith.
Right.
And there were some times when I really, really struggled, because sometimes people say, just let go. Bob Proctor had a saying, let go and let God. And
Right.
I think sometimes that is the essence of faith, is knowing to
Exactly.
let go and give it to the higher being. And
Right.
sometimes that's hard to do, and other times it's the easiest thing in the world. It depends on where your thoughts are centered at the time.
Right.
And this
Right.
is why when I said to you, I mean, we could touch on so many different things,
Yes.
but faith from a religious point of view, I get to a feeling. I've explained it a few times to people, and they say it's very strong, but to me, it's just the way I work. But I get this when I know I'm with the higher being, the universe, God, however people want to look at it. I get this sense of peace. It literally comes down, and it's almost like it falls upon me. And as I'm saying this, I can feel it's like
You
someone's
feel it.
wrapped a blanket around me.
Yes.
And I feel that I'm held, that I'm supported. And that is one of the most special feelings in the world. And
And
that,
in the scriptures, they call that the peace that passes understanding, right?
yes.
Yes.
And as you're saying that, I've got tears. Now, that's how strong faith can
Yeah.
be. And when you
Exactly.
talk about it and you actually embrace it, you can achieve anything. But
Yeah.
it's getting to that feeling. And so many people, when I've shared that, they've gone, wow, because they don't see, to them, getting to that feeling of peace and faith,
Yeah.
they find almost impossible. Yet to me, it's probably the easiest thing I ever do
Yeah.
in
But
any
until
part of
you've
my day.
experienced it, it is impossible, right?
Yes,
Until you've actually experienced it and know that it is reality, that you can have that peace,
yeah,
then it's unfathomable to someone who's never experienced that.
yeah,
And the first time you do, it's just amazing.
yes,
And to know that you can have that peace all the time. There's a couple of things that go with that for me, and that is forgiveness and gratitude.
yeah,
I think those two are powerful elements of that peace, whether
yes,
that's forgiveness of yourself or for someone else, and then gratitude for the blessings that you have.
yeah.
I think they're a huge part of that peace.
And sometimes that practice can be the hardest. I can get the gratitude bit, I can really do that, but sometimes that forgiveness, I
Forgiveness.
find I do find hard. I am the first to put my hand up and say I struggle with that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's forgiveness of others, sometimes it's easy, and other times I get quite miffed, and I'm thinking, why? Why do I have to do it? But why? Why do I have to do it? And yes, I'm being honest here, and I think sometimes I
Yeah.
think that's something that a lot of people can find. But once you can find that forgiveness,
Yes.
it's that euphoria that you feel. But you
Yeah.
really, I struggle with that. I can struggle
Yeah.
with that
I
quite a
think a
lot.
lot of people do. I think a lot of people do. Yeah. It's it's one of those things. I mean, this whole realm of faith and forgiveness and all of that. It's one of those things that's harder to describe, harder, and that it's more difficult to understand until you've experienced it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But once you've experienced that and you've seen results,
Yes.
this is where you can take it to other areas of your life as well.
Yes.
And this is where,
Exactly.
when you first met me, I was talking about law of attraction. That was a thing that really lit me up, and I'd say about it. And so many people really find that jump, that faith to think that you put it out there, you raise your vibration, and then you just believe that what you've put out there is going to come back. And that, having that faith is massive.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it's understanding that, and you can do that with your business.
Yes.
And yet, how come we can do it in certain areas of our lives and not in others? Yet it's the same process, but you can see where certain pieces, sometimes those puzzles, it doesn't fit together exactly, and you struggle more. Like, how
Right.
many of us put out there, yes, we can do the gratitude with that, we're grateful, we're so grateful for what's brought to us and for the life we have. But then we put something out, we maybe want our business to grow more, and we do all the work. And sometimes you don't get the results quite as quickly or as easily as you'd hoped. Yet when we look at the faith in our religious life, in our spiritual life,
right,
it's so easy. But it's that same faith.
Point.
It's the same faith that we should put into other areas of our life.
Yeah.
And yet, isn't it strange? We don't always follow the same habits, the same methods.
And what comes to my mind is the term nothing doubting.
Mm.
And it's easier in some other areas of our lives to have that faith, nothing doubting that this is going to happen. This is going to come to fruition. And I think that we are often held back on the business side from that by our mindset, by the experiences that we've had that have impacted our personal beliefs of our own success.
Yeah.
And so mindset is one of the first areas we work on in business, typically. At least in many businesses, I'll say it. Typically, I don't think that was true for the corporate world. I don't think they spend a lot of time on mindset, but I think in entrepreneurship,
yes,
there's a huge push for overcoming those areas of mindset that are holding us back. And I know for me, I had some experiences when I was a very young child that impacted my mindset around money in a negative way. And, I've been working for a while to overcome that. It's not always a one and done kind of a thing. Some things, things have layers, right?
Definitely.
Things have layers.
And I think no matter where you go, you are always growing. You are always learning. So we think we've done the work, and it might take us to another level, and we grow and we see fantastic results.
Right.
But we still haven't reached that perfect peak. And so we keep going and keep going. And there's always that work to be done. And that I found I'd stalled for quite a while when it came to that, because I thought, yes, I understand what my calling is. I know what my thought leadership, where I was going, what I was doing. And I stopped working on myself probably for a good 5 or 6 years, because I thought, I know, I'm comfortable. But then you start to, it's almost like you're going up the stairs and you start to teeter and fall back because you're not putting the effort in to that one area. And
Right.
it really impacts. And you have to realize it's a constant effort.
Yeah.
You do the work. Yes, you do it because you love it. And so it's a lot easier to do. But it's working on all those areas, that spiritual side, the business side, the personal side, because
Right.
it impacts, that idea of faith impacts on all those areas. And it's when you think, I think now, yes, I've always been a confident person, but maybe that confidence had gone too much. I'd become overconfident. So
Ah,
I had to learn that and almost step back and come back and realize, peel those layers away and really show
yeah.
myself in a vulnerable state, because the
Right.
confidence had been there and I hadn't been vulnerable, because I thought, yeah, I can do this, and off I'd go. And it was
Right.
almost, sometimes that vulnerability is what you need to show, because that's where you need to grow in that area. And it's
Right.
having the faith that's showing your vulnerability, the
Right.
faith in getting the results from there. And sometimes that can be a massive learning curve. At the time, you might not want to visit it, but if you
Yeah.
do, when you do, that's when the biggest growth curve,
Big growth will come. Yeah.
and often that's a personal thing, but it can impact your business, and it will also
Absolutely.
impact your spiritual faith, your religious faith, because when
Right.
you work in harmony and you work in all those areas together, everything grows. And
Yes.
it's a wonderful feeling, isn't it?
It is. And the word that comes to my mind as you say all of that is that it's a journey.
Yes.
It's not,
Yes.
again, it's not a one and done. It's a journey. And
Yes.
you're going to have setbacks, and you're going to have, make U-turns, and you're gonna, it's not necessarily a straight road,
Yes. And
but it is a journey.
and when you think of it, like as a business, you will always have a plan. You will say what your goals are on, put them out
Right.
there, and you'll have your business plan that you're going to reach A, B, and C by doing 1, 2, 3 things or whatever, and you know to do that.
Right.
I think for a personal development point of view, that doesn't always work, because your business mind will take you to a certain thing, and from
Right.
your religious, spiritual journey as well. I think from that side, you give yourself up to the higher source, to
Right.
universe, to God, to whoever it is.
Right.
You actually take away. It's not you being the driver, then you are giving the driving seat to
Exactly.
the other person. In
Yes.
the business, that's you in charge, and you know exactly where you're going, and you're having the faith for it to go. And then
And
the personal one, it's a bit of everything, isn't it?
and that's a key point, though. I think that one of the things that can make our business more successful is when we allow that faith in that being, allow that being to be in the driver's seat in the
Yes.
business.
Yes.
They're guiding and directing, we're implementing,
Yes. And
we go so much farther faster.
yes, and this is where I was saying at the beginning of this conversation, which is partly why I said about using this word faith. There's
Right.
certain areas of our life where it's automatic. We give the driving seat to
Yes.
the other being. We just give it up. There's no question that we do that, and yet we don't do it in other areas of our life. And
Right.
that's when things stick. That's when
Run
we
amok.
don't quite get the results that we're aiming for.
Yeah.
And this is where sometimes where we're saying, almost on the personal level, sometimes it's a constant learning. It's studying all the time. It's putting that time in, that
Yes.
you have to stop and think, right, what is it I need to learn today? What is the lesson I
Yes.
need to learn? And that's when the intuitive piece will come in. Sometimes your business might not grow because you're not doing the personal work that you need to grow in yourself, that you
Yes.
need to take that guidance from the spiritual side and bring it
Yeah.
into your business. And that's where it goes back. I say that word faith, we have it in a religious sense. We fully embrace it and we do anything that we feel called to do.
Right.
Yet in business, where we should be calling that same entity, that same
Yes.
feeling of faith
Yes.
in, we don't.
Yeah,
And
we tend to
again, in
think
our
we have to do it.
yes, and this is where sometimes businesses can stall, they might fail, you might, or this is when sometimes we use the word pivot, almost where things start to change.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we haven't listened to that voice, that message that we should have seen. And once
Right.
we embrace that faith and fully understand it, and even as I'm saying this, I know when I started off and I said you can have different sorts of faith. There is no different sort of faith.
Yeah.
There's one faith, but you
Yeah.
need to
Impacts all areas of your
yes,
life.
yes, yes. And you're thinking, when's she going to come to this? And then you suddenly see ping, ping, ping.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, yeah, a lot of thoughts going around in my mind.
But this is it. We were both silent at the same time. And I think sometimes that is what is needed. Yes, you see, when we're doing these discussions, we have very few gaps where we allow silence, because it's almost as well, we're taught when you're doing a podcast, when you're doing speaking, that you fill that space.
Right.
But sometimes it's learning to just sit in silence, because that's when the messages come through thickest and strongest.
Yes, it's that listening that we're doing. When we're silent, we're listening. It's hard to listen and talk at the same time.
Yep. But this is like we say regularly, we've got two of these and one of these for a reason.
Exactly. Oh, great discussion. Great discussion. I mean, we could talk about this one for days.
We could, and this is why I thought let's just go with this, because it can take us in so many different areas. Right. And if we say the work that you and I do, if we just look at a coaching point of view, you have a faith in your coach that you fully understand that we know how to deliver on the services that we offer.
Right.
And it's almost that personality, it's that sense of being that we put out there. I go back to almost that word confidence. When we know we have faith in ourselves because we have that heartfelt connection, right, we know we can deliver what our clients and customers want. And that's what draws your audience to you, to become your customer and client, because they see that confidence, they have that connection, they know that we can deliver on what we do. And it's having that faith in ourselves that then our clients and customers have the faith in us as well. And it's that understanding and having that connection. And it's almost, as we've been talking, yes, I go back to the law of attraction thing that I think I was taught very early on. When you go to a restaurant and you order a meal, you'll look at the menu and you see all these choices and you tell the waiter, waitress, this is what you want. And they disappear. Never do we worry or think. We have the confidence and the faith that what we have just ordered, that meal is going to come to the table and we are going to receive it.
Love it.
Yet we do that. We should understand that. We have the faith in that, yet we don't have the faith in ourselves to deliver on or what we want to do in business, where we go back to that thing of embracing what the word faith means and using it in every area of our life. We have that strong faith in our religious connection, in the spiritual connection. We have the faith that the waiter is going to take our order in and our food will be delivered. We have faith that when we go to sleep, that when we wake up, night will follow day, and all this, and that we go to sleep and we're going to wake up, it's going to be a glorious day. We that never falters. Yet when we do work on ourselves and we do things, our faith, why do we not have faith in ourselves?
We struggle with that faith in ourselves, don't we?
Yeah. And yet we've said all these examples we've used where, yes, you know it's going to happen, and you know that you know. And that's taken from a reading I do of Bob Proctor, and I can say it with so much faith. And like, how many of us can quote from scripture that there are perfect phrases that we visit time and time again, because they're the ones that renew and reignite our faith, because it's those words that light us up. Yet when it comes to our business or doing work on ourselves, sometimes that faith wavers. Yet really, once we know we've got that heartfelt connection, how can we let the faith in ourselves waver? Because it's there, and we know we are loved and we are held, and people believe in us.
Right.
The entities believe in us. It's there, and it's seen. How do we bring that into our business, and how do we bring it into our personal life? And it's so strange, because we, as we discuss, we have that strong faith, and then yet we go and work on ourselves, and we lose it. We forget it because we're looking at ourselves instead of seeing it as the infinite loved beings that we are.
Right. We lose sight of our own possibilities, our own worth from time to time, and what we're truly capable of. And then there's the opposite, as you mentioned earlier. There's that swing of the pendulum, where we can become overconfident in ourselves and forget that we still need that help. And then we have to come to an awakening of that, and hopefully then we get that pendulum where it needs to be, and we're able to have both the faith in that higher being, that higher power, to guide us, direct us, to help bring things into our business that we need, but also the confidence that we have the skills and the knowledge and the abilities to deliver, to be able to deliver the promise that we make to our clients.
And when you said the word pendulum, that is so perfect, because again, that shows that constant back and forth. Very rarely does it actually reach that center and not move. So there's always that bit of work that needs to be done on one, and then it might start again. And as I'm doing this, and it's going back and forth, so that swing becomes stronger. And the more work you do on one side means that you have to make it equal, and you need to do the equal work on the other. And yet sometimes we struggle. Yet when we talk about it in the way we're discussing now, it's so obvious. Yet when we come to work on it, and people struggle.
The blinders go up.
I mean, would you say there's any tools you use that actually help you with that pendulum movement, to actually keep that work and keep everything as close to an even keel as possible?
I think the tool for me is a journal, and journaling every day, if at all possible. And the last couple of weeks, I've struggled to get my time in that I normally take in the mornings, to read my scriptures, to pray, to write in my journal. And so I sat down to write in my journal this morning, and it had been 12 days since I'd written it, and I was flabbergasted. It can get away from you so quickly. But that's where a lot of times I receive inspiration and answers to my prayers and insights into what I need to do. And it's just a powerful tool for me. And the second element of that is a gratitude journal, because a gratitude journal will keep you centered. As you express gratitude, boy, how do I want to say that? You reap more blessings as you express gratitude for what you have, for the blessings you have received. And you gain more insight into things. The more you express your gratitude, the more you become aware of the blessings in your life. Because we can be blessed all day long and not see it. We can have those blessings and just not recognize that those were blessings. Let me share a quick example of that. On Saturday, I guess it was on Friday, I was really tired, and I had gone to my bedroom to take a nap. Well, typically, if I'm going to take a nap, I'll take it in the living room. I'll lay down on the sofa or get in the recliner chair and take a nap there. And I thought, no, I'm going to go lay down on the bed, which is something I rarely do for a nap. And I could hear the compressor working on the air conditioner, hear this sound outside my bedroom window, and it just kind of bothered me for a minute. I thought that didn't quite sound right, but I just fell asleep. And I woke up about an hour later to this almost the sound of a jackhammer outside of my bedroom window. I mean, outside of my bedroom. And I was like, that is really not a right sound. So I went and I told my husband about it. And so we went to the back door and opened up the back door. And he said, "Is that the sound you're hearing?" And I said, "Yeah." Well, it sounded like it was coming from across the way, like it was somebody doing some kind of work across the way. But as I stepped out into the backyard, I could tell no, it was coming from the side of the house where our air conditioning unit is. And so he went over there and immediately had to shut it down. A fan blade had broken on the fan in that unit. And so it was out of kilter. It was hitting the sides as the fans turned, as the blades turned, it was hitting all the sides and causing damage and causing all this racket. Well, one, we have a really good friend who has a lot of electrical background and all, and he was able to come over and help. The store was open to go get the fan blade, and then turned out we needed a new capacitor. I think it was a resistor or capacitor or something. And so the next morning he was able to go and get that. And I said to him on Sunday night, I said, I am so grateful that happened on Friday during the day instead of during the night while we would be sleeping, and could have caused more damage, and we wouldn't have been able to repair it perhaps the next day, And so there's a blessing in there. Did something go wrong? Absolutely. But there was so many blessings in getting it taken care of.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been that we'd need to replace that whole unit if we'd not been home.
Yeah.
Let's say we were out of town or something and we weren't home and it happened. It could have, who knows? The capacitor thing could have caused a fire. There were several things that were averted because we were home and because I chose to lay down on the bed for the nap, because I wouldn't have been hearing the noise if I hadn't been in my bedroom with that just on the outside of that bedroom wall. So things go wrong in our lives, but we can still have that gratitude as we recognize the blessings around it and how we were so tremendously blessed in spite of what went wrong.
Yes. And it's from that as well, it's starting to see those divine intuitive nudges. Like you said, it was out of the ordinary. You wouldn't normally go to lie down. You'd normally be in the recliner or
lying down on the bed during the day. Just totally resisted. No, I'm not going to go do that. I'm going to lay on the sofa. I'm going to lay on my recliner chair.
And it's when you realize, see, that's divine intervention almost guiding you to see, so you do see things. So it's yet another form of gratitude, because that's what we see. And that's where that religious side, the true faith, touches every area of our lives. And it isn't until you start to do that gratitude, to be thankful and grateful for what you have, and for that intuitive nudge, and for knowing that you are truly cared for, that you are looked after, that those things that little changes are made so that you can live the best life ever. And it's amazing how this can touch your life. And like you say, yes, when I said to you about the toolbox, as you said, gratitude, yes, I've had a gratitude journal for years, but like you, I can get into a routine and I do it religiously, regularly, every day.
Right.
But sometimes life throws us a wobbly, and other life impacts on your normal routines.
Yep.
And I used to be so hung up that and then I'd get up even earlier because I wanted to fit all my habits in. And then when I learned to just let go and think it doesn't matter if I don't do that one day, or if I don't do it for a month, that doesn't mean that the knowledge has gone. I know I can come back to it, and I can pick up that pen and I can start to write my gratitude. And it's like I haven't missed a day, that I haven't missed a beat, because it's so easy. And it's knowing those things that sometimes life and things happen that we can't always have that easy routine that yes makes everything fall into place, but that doesn't mean that we have to start from scratch, because we don't have to relearn what we already know. We just have to remember, and that's the difference. And it's knowing that. And I think this is where you can bring that faith into business. Like we say, we remember it in our religious life, but we don't always take it over into business and into our personal. But once we remember and we realize and we make it a part of every area of our life, the faith that yes, that we are going to be speaking to the right person, that when we wake up in the morning, we are grateful that we are going to meet yet more customers and clients that have come to us because we are the perfect fit. And it's understanding that and having faith that that is going to happen over and over again, that we've put our order in, we looked at the menu and said we want to work with these people, and these are the people we'd like to come into our lives. We've put our order in, we've taken it off the menu, so why should we worry? It's going to happen because we don't worry when we put our order in for our food. And it's exactly the same thing.
It is. And often that food comes to us as inspiration.
Yeah.
That we can then recognize that that's the inspiration, the response to our request, our prayers, our, that it often comes as those whisperings, those inspirations that, oh, where did that thought come from? Well, you asked.
Yes. As you've said that, I felt that piece is coming over me, and is once you get to know, like, how attuned I am to the energies and how I feel and how I get certain results. But it is once you know and you're fully aligned, that whole sense of peace, when you know that that it's exactly what you should be doing. And that once you've got that faith, once you've got that, and you can hold it in your heart and you can share it, you share that faith with others, and it blossoms and become what starts off as a little seed becomes a whole orchard or a forest, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I love this. Thank you, Pearl.
It's amazing where it goes, because you have one word and you can cover every area of your life from using that one topic.
And it does. It absolutely does.
And it's amazing, as we've had that discussion, I feel completely invigorated, almost as if we were meant to have that discussion. And I'm hoping anyone that comes on this particular episode, please mark it as one of your favorites. And whenever you waver and you feel you've lost that gratitude, you've lost that peace and that faith, re-listen to this over and over again, and it will awaken all those wonderful thoughts and your faith. It will awaken your faith all over again in every area of your life, and
something act upon it.
Yes, because you can have this wonderful feeling, but you need to listen to the messages you receive and take action from it, because this is where, yes, we hear about all these things, you have to take action as well. And that's the difference that you have from being from getting the results you want.
And it is, and the truth of it is that if you don't act upon the promptings that you receive, eventually you stop feeling those promptings.
Yes.
So really important to act upon them.
Yes.
Because we create the distance.
Yes. We do.
Yeah. Awesome. Oh, great discussion, Pearl. Like I said, we could go on for days, folks. But we won't. Well, we hope that you enjoyed this and that you got some value out of it. It was a great discussion for us. We enjoyed it, and as Pearl said, are rejuvenated by it. That our energies are greater now than when we came into the conversation. So we hope that it was beneficial for you as well. Last thoughts, Pearl?
Only to echo what you've said, Regina. I mean, this has probably been one of my favourite episodes we've ever done.
Awesome.
And I'm going to be leaving it with such a sense of peace and wonderment that just from sharing and understanding what one word means and how it impacts
Yeah.
every area of your life, and
Right.
you can revisit with those feelings every day throughout
Yeah.
the day, and it's
Yes.
just it's making sure that we connect in those ways.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think she said it all, folks. So with that, I'm just going to say goodbye, and we will see you on Thursday. In the meantime, we hope that you make one mini or at least one collaboration, or have a collaboration conversation, and that you come back to this and revisit your own faith and how it's working in your life, in your business, in all areas of your life, because it does bind together all those areas of your life. So we'll see you soon. Bye for now.
Bye.